Now, I understand not having the Chiefs ranked first. They lost the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl in nasty fashion. Sure, you could give them credit for the fact that they have been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls, and the Eagles have been to just 2 of the last 3. You could air that towards the Kansas City Chiefs, but as the Kansas City Chiefs do play in Kansas City, never was that going to be the case. So I knew it would be the Eagles ranked number 1 in a power rankings from USA Today. Now, in an article, 2025 NFL Power Rankings After Free Agency, Where Do All 32 Teams Stand Heading into the Draft from USA Today by Nate Davis, I knew it would be the Eagles number 1. And okay, I get it. Great. I would not previously have guessed that anyone in their right mind would have the Kansas City Chiefs ranked, I'm just going to ruin it ahead of time, 5th. Now, me telling you that the Chiefs were ranked 5th by USA Today, 2 and 3 on this list, you could guess. Absolutely, you could guess them. You could think about every preseason where teams are ranked according to the Kansas City Chiefs, or in accordance with the Kansas City Chiefs, and you would be able to name the 2 teams that are ranked 2 and 3. You might get them in the wrong order according to USA Today, but you'd be able to list them. Absolutely not would you be able to guess the number 4 team in the entire NFL according to USA Today. Now, I'm not going to read the entire entry on the Eagles. You get it. It is what it is. Understandable. Buffalo Bills, number 2. Really? Are we back here? The only thing that would be more embarrassing than this is the Chargers, which, no, they're not on the list. But number 2, Buffalo Bills. Last time they were ranked, the Buffalo Bills were 3. Have last season's AFC runners-up pulled ahead of the Bugaboo Chiefs in recent weeks? At minimum, Buffalo's perch atop the AFC East seems virtually guaranteed to extend with a 6th straight year following the extensions for quarterback Josh Allen and defensive end Greg Rousseau. And the jolts from ex-Bolts, defensive end Joey Bosa and wide receiver Josh Palmer. Given the issues elsewhere in the division, the cherished number 1 playoff seed seems quite feasible in 2025. Well, ask the Chargers how upset they were that Joey Bosa went elsewhere. Ask, the Buffalo Bills what Josh Allen plans on doing with all of those wide receivers. Ask him how many pictures he wants looking just distraught on the sidelines, despite the fact that he has all the offensive toys in the world. I don't think it's going to work all that well for the Buffalo Bills. And I don't know what Bugaboo Chiefs means. I'm not sure exactly what statement is being made with that word selection there. But the Bills being ranked number 2 doesn't quite make much sense when you take into consideration the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs have just had their number in the postseason. The regular season doesn't seem to matter to the Chiefs. The Buffalo Bills decide to play their best efforts in the regular season, and the Chiefs come back and beat them every postseason. Now, didn't want to get that away too easy. Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens, ranked last time number 4. By and large, the AFC North champs are running it back in 2025, and why not? Two-time league MVP Lamar Jackson somehow seems to consistently improve year over year, and now he has DeAndre Hopkins as his number 3 wideout. Okay. The Ravens looked like the best team in the league for periods of time last season, and who knows what happens if tight end Mark Andrews doesn't drop that would-be two-point conversion in the playoff loss at Buffalo. But he did. Yet a team that lost twice to last-place clubs in 2024 remains too prone to self-sabotage. And that is exactly what we saw from the Ravens last season. They could not win when they had to. They could not win when it was just an assumed victory. And that's kind of been the case with the Ravens. Another one of these teams that once the playoffs start, they have 1990s Chiefs written all over them. I don't know what it is. Last year was supposed to be the year for this franchise. Everything was supposed to be lining up, and it just fell apart. You want to say that, well, now everything's solved. They have DeAndre Hopkins as a number 3 wideout. I'll allow you to think it. I don't know exactly where you're going with that thought process, but I'll allow you. At this point in his career, he is a number 3 wideout. We saw that in Kansas City last year. That's absolutely mind-blowing that the author, Nate Davis, here would assume that this would be sort of the nail in the coffin to this argument. Okay, all right, you can think it. The number 4 team here, yes, as everyone had suspected, the Los Angeles Rams. Good as the Eagles were, no team pushed them closer to the playoff brink than this one, at Lincoln Financial Field in the snow, amid something of a youth movement. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, 37, a weird statement to follow something of a youth movement, and newly signed wide receiver Davante Adams, 32, certainly aren't wet behind the ears, but are on board for a Super Bowl push with what should be one of the NFC's bona fide contenders. Hey, I'm on board for that, baby. You want to call him one of the bona fide contenders in the NFC? Absolutely. Darn tootin'. To rank them ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs is absolutely absurd. Absolutely mind-blowing. What did they do to get ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs after free agency? What did they do to move up from 10 to 4 in these NFL power rankings? Now, let's get to it. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. Last time these rankings were done, the Chiefs were number 2. Think about that. They dropped 3 spots. Okay, well, what's going on here? They found a way to keep right guard Trey Smith, linebacker Nick Bolton, wide receiver Hollywood Brown, and running back Kareem Hunt, and should get wide receiver Rashee Rice back for most of next season. But some key players also departed, namely all-pro guard Joe Thuney and the left side of the offensive line that utterly collapsed in the Super Bowl loss currently seems as suspect as ever. The Chiefs got better at left tackle. 1,000% the Chiefs got better at left tackle. You can make the argument for Joe Thuney, and I get it, but how consequential really is the left guard on the grand scale of things? Having kept all of the big names, Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, Hollywood Brown, they want to go ahead and throw in Kareem Hunt, great, cool. And they added a left tackle, and they added a running back who, guys, if he's healthy, by week 4 might be your starter. And they added, so they lost Justin Reed. The article calls out Joe Thuney, but they also lost Justin Reed. And I think that is going to be an underrated loss, but I do think that they have the rounds ready in the chamber to replace Justin Reed. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they signed a cornerback and they signed a defensive tackle. The cornerback should be your cornerback number 2 or 3, which should give you a pretty solid top 3 corners. The defensive tackle, we can hope something in the draft comes to the event that Jerry Tillery is a rotational piece, but he's a good rotational piece. To make the argument that after free agency, the Kansas City Chiefs somehow downgraded themselves from 2 to 5, and I know it's meaningless, but from 2 to 5 after what they pulled off in free agency, and I don't think any of us expected them to pull that off in free agency. Did you expect we would be coming into the 2025 season with Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, and Hollywood Brown all on the roster? I did not. This is indicative of what it is that we're going to be going through in Kansas City yet again. So, when I was young, ESPN Sports Center, that was the big deal. Every hour on the hour is the same stories, looped over and over again. And I remember I would sit there for an hour, because you could never catch it just right, and watch Sports Center to see 30 seconds of them talk about the Kansas City Chiefs from a national perspective. I just wanted the national perspective. It was interesting to me. Don't know why. Watched the game. Don't know why I need to see the highlights. But back then, you couldn't just pull them up on YouTube, right? That was the only way you could relive the game. And it was always 30 seconds. The Chiefs could win 49-9 like they did against the 49ers that time. The Chiefs could lose in blowout fashion. The Chiefs could have a record-setting day from Priest Holmes. Didn't matter. 30 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the Chiefs. No matter what, right? The only time I remember it being significantly longer than that was that 2003 game, Dwayne Clemens, where he threw his helmet and gave the Chiefs and Morton Anderson another shot at the field goal, and they ended up making it and winning. That was it, right? This is the burden of a small market team. Now, some of the other small market teams in the NFL are actually some of the most storied franchises. The Packers, they get their due. For whatever reason, they get their due. Still, after a whole lot of pretty much inconsequential football, they get their due. And I get it. One of the most storied franchises in the sport of football. But the Chiefs, you would think, after 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, including the Kansas City Chiefs, 7 consecutive AFC championships, included the Kansas City Chiefs, there are middle schoolers who have never been on the earth while the Chiefs lost the AFC West. Is that right? I don't have any children, so the ages on grades are confusing to me a little bit, but I believe that's correct. Middle school 6th graders would have never lived through a non-AFC West championship Kansas City Chiefs, if I'm doing that math correctly, and I'm probably not. Absolutely wild that this is still what the Chiefs are dealing with. Being ranked number 5, heading into a season where they went to the Super Bowl. Anyway, guys, that's what I had. I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant about this, but if you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing that I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.